you for taking the ride on the Freedom Train podcast series. I'm your host, Joseph Ford, and as always, ride with me is my homeboy, Mr. Patrick Irvin. Remember, the Freedom Train is brought to you by PAX Inc., that's PACTSINC, and PAX Inc. is a black development organization aimed at developing the black community to its maximum potential through a focus on education and economics with the traits of hard work, honesty, and integrity. For more information, make sure you visit www.pactsinc.org to learn more about the organization, the codes of conduct, the members, how to donate to the organization, how to get involved, and they also have a learning center that you can click on. If you hover over the tab, you'll see they got audio information, stuff on politics, books, survival, legal cases, videos, all these things. So make sure you visit www.pactsinc.org. And while you're online, make sure you visit our Freedom Train website at www.freedomtrainradio.com. Learn more about myself, Patrick, all of our other hosts, Professor Carl Tone Jones, our Tea Time ladies, Darnell Durton, everything that we got going on here at the Freedom Train Network. And you can also check out our weekly lineup. As you know, every Monday you get the Fixed Sports Podcast. Every Tuesday you get the Block and Nickel Monday Party. Every Wednesday you get this show, this lovely, great show, the Freedom Train Podcast Series, as well as the live showing of Office Hours, Professor Carl Tone Jones and Eric October. Every Thursday you get Lessons from the Screen with Patrick Irvin. Every Friday you now get the Fixed Sports Podcast, as well as the podcast of Office Hours with Professor Carl Tone Jones and Eric October. Every Saturday you get Tea Time Black Women Talk, as well as the podcast of On the Shoulders of Giants. And you know, you can visit the website once again, www.freedomtrainradio.com, to learn more about us. Follow us on social media, Instagram at Freedom Train Network, Twitter at Freedom Train Net, Facebook, the Freedom Train Network, YouTube, the Freedom Train Network. Shoot, man, we out here. Hey, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher. You can go check us out. And hey, Pat, man, should we go ahead and start teasing about the app and the other stuff?
I mean, it can't hurt. You know what I'm saying? It can't.
Go ahead, tell them, give them a little tease about what you got cooking up, man.
All right, so check this out, folks. Check this out. We got the app. It's gonna be going to open beta sometime soon. Beta means that you get the app and you test it, you play around with it, and you tell us what's wrong with it, what's right with it, what could be fixed. So you could be looking out for that in the coming weeks. We also got the live radio. Yep, the Freedom Train Network is now an official internet radio station. We got our own station, our own lineup, so we doing that. So there's going to be there's already the link on the website that you can go to, but we don't put content up on a consistent basis because we're trying to figure out how that works. So if you click on the link on the day that we don't have content up, you're going to hear Joe saying all kinds of craziness. Now, so we got the app coming out. We got the internet radio station coming out. Things is moving. We got new shows lining up. You know, things is moving, man. We doing big things over here, man. Y'all better get on board now. Start supporting the brand on the come up. You know, we don't want no bandwagoners. You know, once the train get full and it ain't no room, it ain't no room.
Right. You better get down while we letting y'all get down, because if you don't get down now and the train start moving and you're trying to get down and the train coming by and the train coming real fast and you're trying to grab on, it might take your shoulder out the socket.
Hey, man, we just saying, man, everybody want to, you know, we want people to help us on the come up. You know what I'm saying? We want people to be there for us. That's not saying we're going to be like, once we get over a certain amount of fans, we don't want you no more. But, you know, it would be nice to have people jumping on board early while these things is popping off. So, you know, we got the apps, we got the podcasts, we got the internet radio stations. We're working on the news angle. We're working on the articles and the blogs. You know what I'm saying? Like we are definitely on our way to becoming something official, in the words of
like a whistle.
My generation. Do they still say official?
They say it'll be 100. I think.
I don't know. Anyways, we working on becoming whatever it means when people be like, you made it. So definitely get on board, help us out, comment on the shows. Um, you know what I'm saying? Share. Let us know. You know, we're always trying to figure out what our audience wants. We're always trying to figure out better ways to keep in contact with our audience. We're always trying to figure out better ways to expand our audience. So if you got any suggestions, questions, whatever, comments, whatever, you know, you got plenty of ways you can reach us. The website, www.freedomtrainradio.com, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Like, it's plenty of ways to reach us. Find whichever one you like, even the Google Play, the Stitcher, the iTunes. Find whichever way you like to reach us and just reach out to us.
Straight up, B. Straight up and down, B's. That way you can be down with the clip. Now, this is our Father's Day edition of the Freedom Train podcast series, and we just want to further dispel the myths of bad black fathers. That's the mission today, and to shine more light on good fatherhood and the positivity and the presence of good fatherhood in the black community. You know, we feel like Father's Day, just like Mother's Day or any other day, we should be celebrating the people within our community on a regular day. But we will take advantage of this time to expose more of the goodness that's going on within our community. So the first thing we want to look at it is black fatherhood valued? Then we want to look at what can men do to become better fathers. And then we're going to use that information to further dispel the myth of absent black fathers. And I think we've done it before. We're just going to kind of drive it home today. So, Pat.
What up?
You a father.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't no father. I want to be a father. I ain't no father yet. But first time I get the chance to be a father. First time. All you need to know is Machine Gun Kelly. But anyway, you get it. You get it. But is black fatherhood value in your opinion? And if so, why? If not, why?
I think it's a mixed bag, and it depends on the audience. I think socially everybody says it's valued, but in a way, you know, it's kind of like the way we do veterans. You know, everybody say respect the vets, honor the vets, but most of the homeless people you see on the side of the streets is vets.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of the area that black fatherhood is in. You know, respect our fathers, cherish our fathers, but every time you turn around, the fathers are being ignored. And let me say to that, and we talked about this earlier, I'm not one of them dudes that thinks that men should get credit for taking care of their goddamn business. I'm not one of them dudes that think anybody, man or woman, mother or father, should get credit for taking care of their children. But what I am saying is that there are certain behaviors that we have as a community that make me wonder whether or not a man taking care of his children is really a cultural value that we have. When you see men that aren't taking care of the children they already have, always managing to find somebody else to knock up. You know what I'm saying? When you see various situations like that where a young lady will have 4 or 5 deadbeat dads, and it's not even the fact that she has so many, it's the fact that she has, or it's not the fact that she has so many deadbeat dads per se. It's the fact that after experiencing one dude who wasn't going to take care of his kids, she didn't take care to make sure that the next dudes would. And I understand people are going to say, well, dudes are tricky, this, that, and the third. But that's where you get back down to that thing, even to the point of like how many dudes are friends with a guy that's an ain't shit father. You know what I'm saying? Like how many fathers have sons that are ain't shit fathers that ain't talking to their sons? How many mothers have sons that are ain't shit fathers that ain't talking to their sons? You know, so when you look at both sides of the equation, it's like, yeah, when people find out that you're taking care of your kids, they shout you out and they, oh, you're doing good, we need more men like you. But they aren't doing anything to create a atmosphere that's hostile. And that's the way it needs to be. It needs to be a hostile atmosphere. Our culture needs to become a hostile culture for anybody that's not taking care of their kids, men, women, or otherwise. And largely, if you find out a woman ain't taking care of her kids, the culture is kind of sinister. It can be kind of hostile. But for the most part, dudes are kind of given that pass. So, like I said, it depends on the circle you in. But as a culture, I got to say, it looks like as a culture, we really don't care. And I think that goes into a whole bunch of other avenues. But I ain't trying to talk all day, so that's where my head is at.
No, I get you. Well, and because more so leaning on you as the expert on this, because like I said, I ain't no father. And I'm gonna keep saying it like that. I ain't no father yet. So, but I think your opinion counts in it ways because of being able to see what you've been able to do as a single father of 3 boys, and so far your boys ain't in trouble. They ain't doing no stupid stuff, and they seem to be on the right track and the right path, and they alive. So
yeah, and that's been interesting too, because that's one of the things, and I will say this for dissection by anybody who chooses to dissect it, but especially when I was single with my boys. I'm married now, thank goodness, but when I was single with my boys, I came across a lot of women who were like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Like they were good with me until they found out that I had, and they were even good with me having 3 kids. You got custody? They live with you? So I think that's interesting as well, because that's a component to our culture that's seldom talked about. Go ahead.
My bad. Not to cut you off, but I do hear from the outside looking in, I do hear a lot of women, not necessarily finding a guy with 3 kids or any kids something that she want to get involved with, even though that lady may have. I've heard women with 3 or more kids say that they don't want no man with kids, and I'm looking at them like, what? And they're like, because I don't want to deal with nobody else's kids. I'm like, well, you expect somebody to do that to you. But I did want to ask this because coming from that, you had that time, and you sat in the role, you've been doing your thing. Do you feel as if the role of the fathers in fatherhood period is like people really care about fathers? Because to me it seems like people really don't. Like, you have to, if you're not a father that don't push the issue, ain't nobody really gonna go out of their way for you for Father's Day or anything surrounding fatherhood. That's what it seems like. But it's just, do you feel like that you get the respect that you deserve as a father for taking care of your child? You're supposed to do it, but because it seems like mothers get that respect, but do you feel like fathers get that same respect or even get respect at all?
I don't put that on like fatherhood or non-fatherhood. I put that on the man box in general. Like, people don't feel like men enjoy getting things like compliments and gifts and other things like that. Like, a lot of people, a good chunk of people have got this thing in their mind where, all a man want is food and fucking and silence. And so, they don't think that men in general have all of these, like, men are intricate and complex beings just as much as women are. And that is always kind of glossed over. And a lot of that is men playing to that because of the society we live in, the culture we live in. If you're a man with emotions, people call you soft. They call you a bitch. They call you feminine. This, that, and the third. So, now you're running into an area where these men are fathers, and especially if they got boys, they're supposed to show them how to work. They're supposed to show them how to make money. They're supposed to show them how to be useful, like provide some sort of utility, fix a car, or fix a sink, or do something to provide some use for a woman and for a family. And then, you're good. And if you take it a step further and teach your son how to throw a ball or dribble a ball or shoot a ball or hit a ball, now you're like super dad territory.
Right.
But outside of that, people aren't really checking for dads to be involved in other things, the more soft skills, the more emotional development, the more hands-on, affectionate type roles. Just people aren't. So I don't know that that's a dad thing. I do feel like dads aren't respected enough in that regard, and that's because I do think that there are a lot of people that feel like that's not a man's role. And that whole man, but that, that's where I go back to again, that whole man role, that manhood box that we like to raise our kids in and stuff them into, that affects things like fatherhood and motherhood and how they interact with their wives, how they interact with their children, how they interact with their grandkids. So I think to have that discussion about whether or not fatherhood is valued, we have to have a serious discussion about what type of value we place on manhood and what type of, what type of personalities and skill sets, emotions and everything else, morals and everything else that we put into that manhood box. You can't really separate the two. What do you think?
I get that, because I do agree that the societal place that men rest in affects a lot of the ways that men are looked at overall across the board. Because we do have a generation of women who expect to be single mothers. And it's not necessarily because men around them have been doing great. And it's also not because women around them have been doing great either. It's the socialization. It's just the way things have been going around in the society around them that's the reality. It's not expected to thrive. I mean, it's expected to go wrong. So, but I do feel like that those stories are the dominant stories. Those stories are the norm, and to me that's an issue, because fathers who are there get left out. Fathers who do great things get left out, and then in a lot of relationships, a lot of things go bad. But I do believe that fathers deserve more of the credit that they get. It shouldn't be, because I think if you're going to look at it as mothers, like a mother's, because let me tell me. I know I'm kind of stumbling with this, but I'm thinking about 4 different things at one time. But when I hear somebody, and I get what people say, but when I hear somebody say there's nothing like a mother's love, I get that, because there's nothing like it. But at the same time, it's almost as if it diminishes the love a father gives. And I be trying to figure out, well, how was a mother's love greater than the father's love? Because last time I checked, the child needs both. Or am I missing something on that?
Well, I think there's a and this is a problem we have throughout our culture. You know what I'm saying? We talk about this all the time. There's a missing component of the duality of experiences, or the necessary balance that has to be present in all things. Yes, there's nothing like a mother's love, and a father's love is not like a mother's love. So, but it doesn't discount that a father's love is necessary, and I extend that to say not even a father, but a father-like figure's love. You know what I'm saying? Because the dude that you might call father, like the man that I call daddy, is not biologically my birth father. But he was there. He raised me. He took care of me. He was there. And I've met other dudes who, the man that biologically, produced them, or slept with their mom, he wasn't there, and that spot was filled by a middle school coach that just took an interest, an AAU coach, some sort of city league sports coach that took an interest and took the kid under his wing. And, now they call that dude daddy, or they call him father, or they call him papa, or they call him whatever. So it's not even, because I think a lot of people take that shortcut of saying I'm going to be a single mom and I'm going to raise my kid by myself. And that's doing a disservice to you and your kid, because your kid is going to get their idea of positive male imagery from somewhere. And I say this all the time. As a mom, single or otherwise, even if you with an ain't shit dude, it's still your responsibility to make sure that both your sons and daughters have positive male examples to look at. And if that means you
Right.
got to enroll them in some sort of a mentor program, you got to stick them in some sort of sport that they suck at just so that they could be around a coach that you think is a decent example of a male. Whatever the case, whatever needs to be done, just because you're single doesn't absolve you from finding a proper male role model for your children. And that's the
Yeah.
same with me when I was a single and raising my boys. That I wasn't absolved from finding a positive female role model for my kids to be around.
Right. Right. Nah, that's true, and I definitely hear what you're saying on that. Just throwing out questions and stuff that I think and things that I've seen, because it just doesn't feel the same when it comes to fathers as it does for mothers. And I do understand why. And if anybody try to act like they don't understand why, then they really not paying attention. But we do see that there is a difference, in the mothers do get their due for what they have been doing. But I still think that all fathers shouldn't be lumped in a box. Like if we can consciously not lump all mothers in the box, we should be able to consciously not lump all fathers into the box as well. And I
get what you're saying, and what you're saying is legit. And you are, I can tell you're thinking about a bunch of different things at once. But it's we want to improve. We don't want to diminish anything that we do for mothers or for women, but we do want to elevate what we do for fathers and for men. And I think a big part of that is recognizing that we, outside of the face value we give to it, we really don't care too much on an emotional level about father, because I think there are too many people out here saying that a woman can do it by herself. And I think that goes back to what we talked about earlier, these manhood boxes. I think back to when I was taking care of my boys alone, how many people told me when they found out that, I was single with 3 boys, that I needed to get them kids a mama because I was going to fuck them up. And we went through a period of time where I needed government aid. And I can remember fighting for government aid. Like, the people legit was acting like I had stolen my children. Like, it was the craziest thing. But you know what I'm saying? When you go through that, you begin to see that people legit don't think that men can do things that men can do. And it's I'm not trying to attack womanhood or anything like that, but when it comes to things like, I remember people would ask me, well, what do they eat? As if I'm not cooking. Like, they eat food. I make them dirt. They eat dirt sandwiches. You know what I'm saying? And the bread is made from mushroom mold. You know what I'm saying? Well, who washed the clothes? We don't wash clothes in my house. The clothes are made from a fabric that self-cleans. You know what I'm saying? Like, we would get these kinds of questions. You know what I'm saying? Well, do they brush their teeth before they go to school? What?
Do you brush your teeth before you go to school?
So, you run into those.
But once again, though, like, to me, that's one of the things that I don't like, and I think that's just been socialized within our society. Because you used to see it in the talk shows. It's like, and we see it on social media now, like, this is what happens when the children are left home with dad, as if dads are incapable of taking care of the children. It's like, come on, stop that. Like, if men are incapable of taking care of children, why y'all having babies with these dudes?
Right, and we see the same thing in the television sitcoms. Back in the day, the 50s and 60s, dad was smart, filled with wisdom, taking care of the household. Nowadays, dad is a fucking idiot. You know what I'm saying? Like, dad is on the level of the children, unless the children are girls. Then dad is beneath